A UFO crashed. An alien interview was secretly conducted. It revealed shocking truths hidden from humanity until now. Why are we here on Earth? Are we truly alone in the universe? What does the first atomic bomb test have to do with this alien visitation? The reason humans strive to become a multiplanetary species is not just survival, but to break free. Something has always controlled humanity from the shadows. In this alien interview episode, we reveal everything. July 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. Something crashed in the desert. The Roswell incident. The US military publicly announced they had recovered a flying disc. Headlines screamed about UFOs, and the news spread like wildfire across the country. But within just 24 hours, they changed the story. It wasn't a flying disc, it was just a weather balloon. They even showed debris, sticks, rubber, and foil. But the witnesses described something completely different. A strange, foil-like material, extremely light, incredibly strong. When crumpled, it will flatten back out on its own like it had memory, unlike anything made on Earth. The wreckage was quickly collected and flown to Fort Worth Army Airfield in Texas, then transferred to the Air Material Command in Wright Field, Ohio, where captured enemy tech was studied. So, if it was just a weather balloon, why so secretive? Why fly the debris across the country to top secret facilities? Some witnesses claim to have seen small, child-sized humanoid bodies at the crash site. Others said the military wanted them to stay silent. But without physical evidence, the story slowly faded until 2007. Author Lawrence Spencer, living in California, received a heavy package over 10 kilograms. Inside was a long letter and a stack of typed transcripts. The sender was an elderly woman named Matilda O'Donnell MacElroy. Matilda claimed she had been an Army Air Force nurse in 1947, stationed near Roswell. She was one of the witnesses to the UFO recovery, and she was assigned to communicate with a surviving being. She described it as small, grey, with a thin body and large black eyes, exactly like the classic alien figure we've all seen in the movies. No mouth, no ears, yet somehow it could communicate. Matilda claimed the alien used telepathy. No words, no sounds, just pure thoughts. The communication shook her. It wasn't about are we alone in the universe, but about how the universe really works and who exactly we are. Matilda was a 23-year-old nurse who stationed at the Roswell Army Airfield. On the 7th of July 1947, she received urgent orders to report immediately to the restricted crash recovery site. When she arrived, the scene was under tight lockdown. Armed guards, military vehicles, a sealed perimeter. And in the center, the wreckage was something strange. Alongside it were 3 small humanoid bodies. 2 were already dead, the third still alive. Medical and intelligence teams had already tried everything. They spoke to it, wrote diagrams, made hand gestures, but the being didn't respond. No movement, no reaction, just silence. Then Matilda walked in. The moment she entered, she felt something strange. A presence. She couldn't explain it. It was like a thought appeared in her mind that didn't come from her. It was clear, distinct, and intentional. She didn't say anything out loud, but she thought back quietly, cautiously, and the presence responded. It wasn't coincidence. The being was communicating. It was telepathy. Matilda reported it immediately. Her superiors gathered for a brief meeting. None of the other personnel had experienced anything like it, only her. So they made a decision. She would be assigned to stay with the being, observe it, care for it, and most importantly, to see if the communication could continue. Shortly after, both Matilda and the surviving entity were relocated to a secure room inside the base. From that moment forward, Matilda was no longer just a nurse. She was promoted and granted top-level security clearance. Her salary was increased from $54 a month to $138. Her job was to remain with the being, establish communication, and help the military to understand what it was and why it had come. Over the next few weeks, the being began to reveal everything. Inside a secure room deep within the Roswell Army airfield, Matilda sat face to face with the being. No microphones, no recording devices, only guards and military officials quietly observing through a one-way mirror. Every conversation relied solely on her through telepathy. Matilda gradually felt the presence she communicated with was distinctly feminine, calm, clear, and subtly compassionate. Though the being had no visible signs of gender, Matilda's intuition strongly suggested it was female. Soon, the being introduced herself. Her name was Elle. Elle communicated purely through thought, dropping clear, distinct impressions directly into Matilda's mind. There was no misunderstanding, no ambiguity, just pure knowledge. The first revelation was about Elle herself. She wasn't a biological being, not like humans or animals. Her body wasn't composed of cells, bones, or internal organs. She didn't eat or sleep. Her grayish skin was synthetic, constructed from advanced, unknown materials covered with a complex electronic neural network. Thin limbs, delicate torso, large dark eyes. Her physical form was specifically engineered for space travel, built to withstand extreme conditions that would instantly kill a human pilot. Elle explained her body's fragility under Earth's gravity. Her limbs barely supported her weight. It wasn't built for physical strength but for extreme resilience to vacuum, radiation, and rapid accelerations. Precisely the kind of maneuvers eyewitnesses often attributed to UFOs. Then came the crucial question: why was she here? Elle clarified her arrival at Roswell wasn't accidental. She was on a deliberate mission, observing Earth, monitoring human activities, especially nuclear tests. But if her technology was so advanced, how did she crash? Elle projected a vivid image directly into Matilda's mind, a vision of what had happened. Her ship wasn't flown with controls. It was piloted through pure thoughts, linked directly to her mind. On the 7th of July, 1947, while observing Earth's nuclear activities, Elle's craft flew into a violent thunderstorm. A sudden bolt of lightning struck. In an instant, the link between Elle and her ship was severed. The craft spiraled out of control, crashing into the desert outside Roswell. But there was more. Elle revealed she was part of something enormous, an advanced and powerful civilization called the Domain. This civilization was involved in a complex struggle, and Earth was a critical location in ways humans couldn't even begin to imagine. This revelation changed everything Matilda, and eventually humanity, would understand about the Roswell incident. This was no ordinary crash. It was an unprecedented encounter hinting at deeper truths about our own existence and the vast universe beyond. As the communication continued, Matilda began to grasp the bigger picture, who Elle was, and why her civilization was so closely monitoring Earth. Elle explained She was an officer, pilot, and engineer from a vast, intergalactic civilization called the Domain. This civilization controlled a significant portion of our galaxy, spanning multiple star systems. But Earth wasn't originally theirs. It had once belonged to another powerful civilization known as the Old Empire. According to L, Earth sat in the contested region at the edge of the Domain's territory. Thousands of years ago, the area, including Earth, was ruled by the Old Empire, an oppressive civilization whose culture and structure closely resembled Earth's own modern societies: hierarchical, rigid, controlling. But everything changed when war broke out between the Domain and the Old Empire. After a prolonged and fierce conflict, the Domain eventually defeated the Old Empire, taking control of this region of space. However, they encountered a severe problem. The Old Empire had left behind hidden traps and defenses, technologies that continue operating even after their defeat. One of these traps was on Earth. Earth was no ordinary planet. It had been specifically used by the Old Empire as a prison world. Beings considered rebellious, creative, or difficult to control, artists, thinkers, writers, spiritual leaders were captured, stripped of memory, and sentenced to endless reincarnation here. The Old Empire had installed a sophisticated, invisible system around the planet. L described it as a four-screen and a thought-control network designed to capture souls, erase their memories, and recycle them repeatedly into new human lives. This was the reason humans remained unaware of their true identities and past experiences, endlessly reincarnating without ever progressing spiritually or technologically. Thousands of years ago, the Domain discovered Earth's strange condition and sent 3,000 personnel to investigate this prison system and establish an operational base in the Himalayas. But something went terribly wrong. Shortly after arriving, all 3,000 vanished. Their souls captured, memories wiped, now living among humanity completely unaware of who they once were. Since then, the Domain had been cautiously observing Earth, attempting to dismantle or weaken the Old Empire's powerful technologies. But the system proved incredibly resilient. L's mission, observing Earth's nuclear activity, was part of ongoing efforts to monitor the planet closely, hoping to identify vulnerabilities. L also revealed something intriguing. Some ancient Earth myths might carry echoes of this forgotten past. She specifically mentioned the Hindu god Vishnu, suggesting that such figures might be distorted memories of Domain officers who once arrived on Earth, remembered locally as divine beings descending from the sky. The implications were staggering. Humanity was not evolving naturally. We were trapped. Our true history and identity is stolen by an ancient, hidden system designed to keep us in perpetual ignorance. This new understanding reframed Roswell entirely. The crash wasn't just visitors from space. It was evidence of humanity's hidden past, our enforced amnesia, and the vast unseen struggle for control of Earth. As Matilda absorbed this information, she realized the profound truth. Humans weren't just visited by extraterrestrials. We were prisoners caught in an ancient, cosmic conflict. Three days into the interviews, Matilda realized the clues of Earth's hidden history had always been around us. We just didn't know how to recognize them. L introduced Matilda to the concept of Isbi, a term used by the Domain to mean an immortal spiritual being. According to L, we were raw Isbis, eternal souls, never born, never dying. But here on Earth, we were trapped. Our true identities erased by the Old Empire's control system, forced into endless cycles of reincarnation oblivious to who we really are. Yet, throughout human history, Elle explained, occasional breakdowns or weaknesses occurred in this prison system. During these short windows, some ESPs on Earth regained partial memories or flashes of their original selves, sparking sudden leaps in human civilization. Think about it. Periods like ancient Egypt, Greece, or the Renaissance didn't just magically happen. According to Elle, these golden ages were moments when the control grid temporarily weakened, allowing trapped ESPs, especially former domain members, to reconnect with their lost knowledge and identities. Take ancient Egypt for example. Even today, we puzzle by how they constructed the Great Pyramid of Giza. A civilization using simple copper tools somehow built massive, precise structures perfectly aligned with Orion's belt, part of the Orion constellation. Some say they were pointing directly towards their true home among the stars. Interestingly, recent scientific scans by a team of University of Pisa revealed something astonishing beneath the Egyptian pyramids. A massive network of vertical shafts, spiral staircases, and even pipeline channels hidden more than 600 meters underground. Some say this could be the legendary Hall of Records, a mythical ancient library that holds secrets deliberately hidden from humanity, perhaps knowledge that the old empire intended us to forget. Or look at the ancient Hindu texts describing gods like Vishnu descending from the skies in flying vehicles, often interpreted as UFOs today. Could these deities actually have been domain officers, misremembered over generations as gods and myths? Elle described this clearly. Whenever ESPs briefly regained fragments of their true identities, bursts of creativity, innovation, and spiritual awakenings emerged. But each time, the old empire system adapted, tightened its control, and plunged humanity back into ignorance. And here's the chilling reality. This cycle continues even now. Humans intuitively sense something isn't right. Something crucial is missing from our understanding of ourselves and the universe. This drives our insatiable curiosity to explore, venture into space, and seek answers beyond Earth. In fact, maybe our current obsession with colonizing Mars isn't just about survival or scientific advancement. Some say it's our soul subconsciously plotting an ultimate escape plan. Terraform Mars, establish a new civilization, break free from Earth's invisible prison, and finally become true, immortal ESPs again. No more memory wipes, no more endless reincarnation. But what if this instinct to escape Earth isn't coincidence at all? What if the desire to reach the stars is actually programmed deep inside us? An ancient instinct to reclaim our lost freedom. As Matilda absorbed these revelations, she faced the ultimate question. If Elle was right, if humanity was truly imprisoned by a hidden force controlling our souls, then what would it mean to escape? Could we finally rediscover who we really are and reclaim our forgotten power? And most importantly, how do we break free? As Matilda learned more about Earth's hidden control system, she asked Elle the one question that haunted her most. If we're trapped here, how do we break free? Elle explained it wouldn't be easy. Earth's prison wasn't physical. It was spiritual, energetic, and incredibly advanced. The old empire had installed an invisible yet powerful system. Elle described it as an electronic force screen, which trapped ESP's souls upon death. It was located high above Earth's atmosphere, far beyond human detection. Every time a human died, their soul, an immortal ESP, naturally rose upward, seeking freedom. But each time, it collided with the force screen, triggering a mechanism that stripped away memories, identities, and all past knowledge. These memory-wiped souls were then returned to Earth, born into new bodies, oblivious and helpless to break the cycle. According to L, the force screen system was almost perfect. But there were rare cases when an ESB managed to partially bypass the system, either due to a temporary malfunction or simply luck. This explained the rare but documented cases of children recalling past lives, detailed memories of events they couldn't possibly have known, and sudden breakthroughs in human evolution or technology that seemed to appear out of nowhere. The domain had tried repeatedly to disable or weaken this force screen. The 3,000 personnel they sent to Earth were intended to establish a base in the Himalayas, directly aiming to sabotage this system, but they failed tragically. Their souls captured, memories erased, forced to reincarnate as ordinary humans. And ever since, they'd remained trapped here, unknown heroes, lost among billions, unable to remember who they truly were. Elle emphasized that the prison wasn't foolproof. She told Matilda something critical. The system could eventually be weakened or bypassed, not just by luck, but by knowledge. The more humanity understood about the true nature of our imprisonment, the weaker the system would become. And that was why Elle's revelations to Matilda were so critical. Humanity needed to know the truth. We aren't temporary beings living brief, random lives. We are immortal, powerful ESBs imprisoned in a cosmic conspiracy. Elle shared that Earth wasn't the only prison planet. The old empire had done this before, trapping countless souls on many planets throughout the galaxy. Each of these planets had similar force screens, massive spiritual prisons, keeping trillions of ESBs under control. But Earth's system was among the oldest, strongest, and most challenging to dismantle. But there was hope. The domain continued their efforts to dismantle this cosmic prison. They'd already significantly weakened the old empire, reducing its territory and power. Eventually, Elle believed the domain would fully regain control, dismantle Earth's force screen, and finally liberate the imprisoned souls. Yet, this liberation wouldn't be quick or easy. It might take centuries, even millennia. But humanity didn't have to wait helplessly. Every ESB who woke up, even partially to their true nature, weakened the prison just a little bit more. Then Matilda asked a chilling question. What happens if the domain fails? Elle paused, her answer grim. She said, if we fail, humanity remains trapped, perhaps forever, cycling endlessly, never knowing freedom or truth. Matilda sat stunned. Elle had let out a stark reality. Our lives, history, and even future were carefully manipulated illusions. But now, armed with this knowledge, could humanity finally begin the ultimate prison break? Or would we continue endlessly reincarnating, forever oblivious to the invisible chains binding our souls? This revelation left Matilda and us with a powerful question. Knowing the truth, what would you do to finally break free? As the interviews continued, Matilda asked Elle about humanity's true past. If humans were eternal ESBs trapped here, what was Earth's real history? Elle's response was shocking. Human history as we know it was incomplete, more like a heavily edited story. Elle explained that Earth had hosted multiple advanced civilizations stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. Civilizations far older than mainstream historians recognized. She described a global civilization known to humans as Atlantis, destroyed approximately 12,000 years ago. Its destruction wasn't an accident. It was a catastrophic event triggered by shifting planetary poles, wiping out the most advanced human societies, forcing humanity to start from zero. Elle also mentioned Lemuria, another ancient advanced civilization that once thrived before sinking beneath the ocean. Both these societies were not mere myths. They were real, technologically sophisticated cultures whose ruins lay hidden beneath the oceans, awaiting discovery. Then Elle revealed something even more astonishing. Many ancient megalithic sites still standing today were built by these lost civilizations. Egypt's Great Pyramid and Sphinx, for example, were far older than current estimates. Recent scanning technologies had even detected huge, mysterious chambers beneath the pyramids, hidden deep underground, hinting at lost knowledge and advanced ancient technology still buried beneath Egypt's sands. Elle explained the pyramids weren't just tombs or monuments. They were part of a global energy network, aligned precisely with constellations like Orion, used by ancient civilizations to harness planetary energy and perhaps even stabilize Earth's fragile environment. This advanced knowledge was lost each time Earth's civilizations collapsed, forcing humanity to repeatedly reinvent itself, never remembering its past achievements due to the old empire's memory wipe system. Elle said it was intentional, ensuring humans will never progress too far, always resetting before becoming powerful enough to escape the prison. Then, with a subtle but unsettling humor, Elle noted humanity's current obsession with colonizing Mars. Perhaps, she joked through telepathy, humans instinctively know their souls must escape Earth. Mars might just be your first step to immortality. After all, there's no force screen waiting for you there yet. Matilda couldn't help but smile grimly at Elle's dark humor. But it made her think, were humanity's space explorations not merely curiosity-driven, but actually an instinctive attempt to escape Earth's invisible prison? Before Matilda could ask further, Elle revealed yet another chilling detail. Earth has been deliberately isolated. Every attempt by humans to connect with or communicate beyond the solar system is subtly influenced to fail. Signals jammed, communications blocked. Your planet is quarantined, and you have no idea. Matilda felt a wave of shock. Earth was quarantined, memories erased, history lost, and humanity had no clue. But Elle's revelations were clear. Earth's true past and humanity's potential future were more incredible and more terrifying than anyone had imagined. With each revelation, Matilda understood more clearly why the military feared Elle's words so deeply. Because if humans truly woke up, truly remembered who we were and where we came from, the world would never be the same again. Yet, one question remained burning in Matilda's mind. If humanity was deliberately trapped and manipulated, could there ever truly be a way out? As the interviews approached their conclusion, Matilda noticed Elle growing increasingly quiet, almost reflective. Matilda sensed their time together was nearing an end. One of their final meetings, Elle revealed something profound. She said, "The prison you're trapped in was designed specifically to be impossible to detect. Live entire lifetimes never suspecting their reality has been manipulated. Everything humans believed, religions, social structures, the afterlife, heaven and hell, were fabrications meant to reinforce their endless reincarnation cycles. Your beliefs are not your own, they're implanted. Yet Elle provided a glimmer of hope. Your people possess incredible creativity and resilience. That's why the domain seeks to eventually dismantle the system holding you captive. But until then, awakening even a small number of humans can disrupt the system. The military's patience had worn thin. The conversations Matilda was having with Elle weren't yielding the advanced technology or military secrets they'd hoped for. Frustrated, military officials decided to intervene more aggressively. One morning, without warning, military officers entered the interview room. They demanded Elle cooperate more explicitly, share advanced technical knowledge, weaponry, or anything strategically valuable. Elle remained silent, unresponsive to their demands. In their frustration, the military resorted to harsher tactics. They administered electroshock in an attempt to force cooperation. Matilda, horrified, watched helplessly. The shock was meant to intimidate, not kill. But Elle's fragile synthetic body couldn't withstand even minimal trauma under Earth's conditions. Immediately, her small body went limp. Eyes dull, the telepathy connection severed forever. Elle was dead. Matilda was devastated. The being who had trusted her, who had shared such profound truths, was gone in an instant. She was left alone with a universe of revelations and a weighty responsibility. Soon after, Matilda was quickly reassigned, forced into silence, and ordered never to speak to her experiences. She lived in secrecy for decades, fearful of persecution or worse. But just before her death, Matilda made one final act of rebellion. She packaged the transcripts and her memories, sending them to author Lawrence Spencer, hoping he might have the courage to share her extraordinary story with the world. Some say Matilda's story isn't just proof of extraterrestrial life. It's proof we're trapped, bound by an ancient force we can't see or touch. But skeptics insist it's nothing more than fiction. Just another conspiracy wrapped in existential questions. Yet consider this. Why is humanity so obsessed with the stars? Why are we racing to colonize Mars and dreaming of life beyond Earth? Could our drive to leave this planet actually be a subconscious yearning? To break free from an invisible prison? To finally reclaim our memories and identities lost through endless reincarnations? If Elle's revelations hold any truth, are we slowly awakening to the reality we've forgotten? Or is it all just wishful thinking? Is humanity on the brink of escaping an ancient trap? Or are we destined to remain here, trapped in an endless cycle of amnesia? The choice of what to believe is yours.